guys, welcome to Mike the Film Nerd. This is my first YouTube video or YouTube movie show video anyway. I'm going to be doing my top 5 my top 5 movie picks of 2016 thus far. The majority of them are comic book movies because this is 2016 is the year of the comic books. So I'm going to do a review over my top 5. One of them is not a comic book movie, but the majority of them are. I will be bringing up more content. I plan to have a day dedicated just towards classic cinema. I don't know if I have any black and white movie fans out there, but I'm a big fan, so I'm going to review a lot of movies. Streetcar Named Desire, some what else I wanted to do. Streetcar Named Desire, Some Like It Hot, that's one of my favorite comedies. Some classic film noir. I also like the New Wave, French New Wave. I would definitely be reviewing some of those movies because they're pretty cool. So I don't know if I have any film theory nerds out there, but that will be part of my channel as well. But that's just, I'm going rambling on a tangent. So I want to get towards this top 5 picks I have. So I will be talking about XMen Apocalypse, which just came out, Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, Captain America: Civil War, The Jungle Book, and Deadpool. See, 4 out of 5 is comic book movies. I'm going to talk about them. How I'm going to do this is I'm going to tell you who's starring in them, who directed the movies, the budget, the box office, their Rotten Tomatoes score. I'm going to give you the critic score of what these critics think, and I'm going to give you the audience score. So you kind of see a feel of why some movies are more successful than others and what people really like it right now. And then I'm going to give you my brief talk about the film. I might have some spoilers, and I will let you know if you don't want to be spoiled. I think that's very important because I don't want to ruin the movie for you guys. So yeah, let's get into it. So my first pick, I'm going to start, I will go in order. So the first pick, it came out in February, is Deadpool. Actually, I just recently saw this on Blu-ray, or DVD, I mean. Deadpool is starring Ryan Reynolds, TJ Miller, Aaron Sorkin, Marina Baccarin. I hope I'm not butchering her name, but she was like the love interest. The director was Tim Miller. The budget for the film was $58 million. The box office was $763.3 million right now. That is his box office, which is pretty successful. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a score of 83%. For the critics, that's what they scored the movie. Audience scored the movie as a 91%. So this is a fan favorite. It's the first comic book movie that was rated R. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys can shout out any other comic book, like the movie is, lore is in comic book that's rated R, but I think this is the first one. But like I said, I could be correct, be corrected. But yeah, I like the movie. I know that Ryan Reynolds, this was his passion project. He's been trying to get this movie off the ground. Actually, he wanted to play Deadpool since X-Men Wolverine Origins, if you guys remember that terrible movie. And they had Deadpool in it, but his mouth was shut and it was just terrible. So he's been fighting for that movie for a long time. It finally got, the studios finally believed in it. Fox did. And they shot it for, like you see, as a cheap budget, and it made all of its money, which means this was really the marketing behind it was what pushed this movie to that $763.3 million box office. Just talking about the movie, I would say that some people had my sister in particular, she didn't really care for it too much because he breaks the fourth wall. But any comic book nerds out there know that that's what Deadpool does. He talks to the audience. So I love the breaking of the fourth wall. I love the flashbacks. I love everything that made sense. I love the 2 X-Men characters that were incorporated in, and I've heard that they're planning to they're planning to make like an X-Force movie or something like that, where those who are in it, and Deadpool kind of sort of, you know, joins X-Men. But yeah, so I would definitely tell you guys to check it out. If I rate it from a scale of from 1 to 5, I would give it a 4. It's a pretty strong movie. It's funny. It is rated R, so it is a lot of cursing. It is a lot of blood. It's a rated R movie, so if you're not into that, then I would say not see it. But if you really want a good time in a comic book movie that's a comedy first and then a superhero movie, I would recommend you guys see it. And I didn't spoil that one for you guys, so yeah, check that out. Next is Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. And some that started, I'm not going to name all of them, but you know, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Jesse Eisenberg, Gal Gadot, who played Wonder Woman, Jerry Irons, that was Alfred. It was directed by Zack Snyder. I don't know if I have any 300 fans out there. The budget for this movie was $250 million. For box office, it made $871.1 million. That's what it's standing right now. Its Rotten Tomato score, critics gave it a 27%. Audience gave it a 66%. The plot of the movie, yeah, I'm going to spoil this one for you guys. So, the movie is great for story-wise, structure, 3-act structure. It's pretty cool, but my only negative I will have to give it is that it's some spoilers. It's this scene after Batman falls asleep. He falls asleep, and there's this whole dream sequence where it's like a future where Batman has his troops and Superman have these troops, and they're like against each other, and I'm assuming like Darkseid has kind of taken over the world, and it's a desert, it's like post-apocalyptic and everything, and it's Batman supposedly, it's his fault that Superman, his Earth mother, has died. And so it's a shot, you probably see it in the trailers, where Superman walks towards Batman, pull his mask off. It's in that sequence, and in that dream sequence, Superman kills Batman. But the crazy part about it is that Batman wakes up kind of sort of from that dream sequence into another, so it's like a dream within a dream within a dream. So he wakes up out of that dream, and then in the second dream, he sees Flash coming from an alternate universe telling him, you were right about something, you know, all this type of stuff. And then Flash disappears. And then Ben Affleck wakes up like, what the hell is going on? And they never addresses that in the movie. It's like a random sequence. I don't think it was needed. My dad and I, we went to go see it. He didn't know what was going on. I do know my Batman and Superman comic lore well enough. And I just didn't think it was necessary for them to have it, because if you watch the end of the movie, you get through all the movie, that whole sequence didn't have anything to do with the movie. And I know it probably was hinting towards what is coming in their Justice League, their DC cinematic universe, as you want to call it. I know that Darkseid is coming probably in Justice League Part 2 whenever that comes out, but it didn't pay off. And for a movie, like, things need to pay off, and that didn't pay off. So that's why for my score, I give this movie a 3.5 out of 5. That scene just needed to be taken out, and I would love the movie more. I don't know if any of you guys will disagree with me, but let me know like what you guys think about that. The next movie is Captain America: Civil War. No, I take that back, because it came later. The next movie we're going to review is The Jungle Book. and it starred Neil Sefti. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Bill Murray, Ben Kingsley, Idris Elba, Lupita Nyong'o, and etc. The director was John Favreau. The budget was $175 million. Box office was $879.8 million. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a score of 95%. The critics, audience loved it, gave it a 91. And I'm not gonna spoil the movie, but I would say it's for a Disney live action movie. This is one of the best live actions I've seen so far. I haven't seen Cinderella live action. Let me know if that was great. I've heard it was, but I've also heard mixed things about it. But for Jungle Book, this was awesome. The music, Bare Necessities, I Want to Be Like You, like all of the songs that were in the original, the Disney original cartoon classic was incorporated in the live action version perfectly. Baloo was awesome. Like all the characters was awesome. Idris Elba, who played Khan, was menacing as a tiger and stuff and everything. And it was a great movie. Like, even though it was rated G, this movie had a little bit of violence in there for kids to let them know, like, yeah, these are animals and they're vicious and they're killers and stuff. So I love this movie. I'm not gonna spoil this one either. I would give this a 4 out of 5. I'm not gonna give any movie a 5 out of 5. I don't think anything is perfect, but I definitely love this movie, and I think you guys should check that one out as well. Next, finally, is Captain America: Civil War. And what can I say about? Well, let me say, the cast it's a lot. I'm gonna try to name off a few people. This is a great movie. Sorry, guys. It's awesome. Okay. So it was directed by, I'm gonna change this one. This one was directed by the Russo brothers, Anthony Russo and Joe Russo. If you guys don't know who they are, look them up. They're awesome. It's starring Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Sebastian Stan, Anthony Mackie, Don Cheadle, Jeremy Renner, Chadwick Boseman, Paul Bettany, Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Rudd, Emily Van Camp, Tom Holland, Frank Grillo, William Hurt, Daniel Burrow. This is a massive cast, and I don't know how massive the cast is going to be for Infinity Part 1 or Infinity War Part 2, which I have heard they're changing the name, but I will talk about that later in a movie rumors video and news. But this is a massive cast, as you guys can tell. The budget for it was $250 million. Just like Batman vs Superman. And it's the box office as right now. It already have hit the 1 billion mark. It's $1.108 million, or 1.108 billion. The Rotten Tomatoes score, critics gave it a 90, audience gave it a 91, so it's pretty great. To talk about the movie, what I would say is that the breakout character for me was Black Panther, which a lot of people already know. I'm so ready for this Black Panther movie. Like, I'm ready for it, and a lot of people on my Facebook I see are also ready for this Black Panther movie, which will have 95% of an all-black cast, and 95% of the cast will be either African American or African descent, and I think that's just awesome. But yeah, Chadwick Boseman playing Black Panther, he did a great job. I know Spider-Man is the movie. Spider-Man introduction was perfect as well. They didn't do another origin story of how he got his powers within the movie, which is great. The guy who plays Spider-Man, Tom Holland, already has his powers. He's a kid. He's a teenager. The movie is dope. Those are spoilers. Sorry for giving you guys the head up, but yeah, the movie was awesome. What you basically learn, without giving too much away, because I don't want to give too much away, but some, of course, they changed the outcome of the movie, because all comic book fans know that in Civil War and the comic books, of course, Captain America comes back. They always die and come back, but in the Civil War and the comic book, Captain America does die. He doesn't die in this movie, but the ramification that happens splits the team. So now, just like in comic books, you have the Secret Avengers that are led by Chris Evans as Captain America, and then you have the Avengers that are work with the government, and that is Tony Stark. And I just love that dynamic. I just wonder how it's going to play out in these other movies, like Doctor Strange. Which team will, if any, are present in the movie? Which team will he run into? And I just wonder how it's going to play out. Like, are we going to get another? Are in not Captain America, in Avengers Infinity War Part 1, will there be a resolution before Thanos come and try to kill everybody? I just wonder. But either way, that's enough spoiler and rumor talk. But yeah, if this movie gets a 4 out of 5, I love it. Like I say, Black Panther is the shit. And yeah, so, and finally, my last movie, my top 5 pick, is XMen Apocalypse, starring James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, and some others. There's a massive cast for this movie too. I don't want to name too many. I'm trying to keep this video short, but those are the leading characters for the most part. Directed by Bryan Singer, who did X-Men, the first one, X2. He didn't do X3, that's why it was terrible. He did X-Men First Class and Days of Future Past, and now this one. And this is a continuation from Days of Future Past. If you guys recall, Days of Future Past is set in the 70s. This one is in the 80s. We finally get introduced to Storm, Jean Grey, Cyclops, Nightcrawler. Jubilee is in there, but she's underused. Who else? Havoc is back in there. He was in First Class. But Mystique, Magneto, and I just love the continuation of the story and how this new character really threat really changes the mindset of how these origins of how Storm even joined it. X-Men is addressing this movie. I don't want to give it too much away because it just came out, but I will say it's a great movie. It does have its slow points. It's a little long at certain parts, and it's a little fast in certain parts. So I would say the pacing is kind of off, but it's a great movie. Rotten Tomatoes scored it. They get the critics gave it a 49%. And I think they're just judging it too hard, and the audience gave it a 74. So therefore I say audience really love this movie. For its budget, the budget is 178 million. Box office gave it 265.8 billion. That was last week when it came out. So it's doing pretty well in box office, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna grow. I do recommend everybody see the movie. I would give it like maybe a 3.9 out of 5. But yeah, it's a great movie. But yeah, these are my top 5 picks. I hope you guys enjoyed my little short review. I've rambled for almost 19 minutes. Hope you guys check me out again. Like I said, I'm going to have some movie news and rumors come in. Also going to do some classic cinema reviews, and maybe like one movie a week or something like that. I got a lot of things planned for this channel, but again, this is Mike the Film Nerd. Thanks for checking me out. Peace.